our norms, try to get started 3, 4, 5, stay on topic. Not use our electronic devices, cell phones, not grade papers, positive constructive comments, attentively participate, respectful of others. If we miss it, remind your folks that's not here, they need to watch it on the video and fill out the sheet. Things seems to be going well. We're off to a pretty decent start of the school year, and we got a lot of stuff that we have to get crammed in. I know we started SLOs. Some of us have started SLOs. I know we're in that window, and then we'll be going into the RSI window as well. And of course, we know those are SLOs, SLOs, and RSI is with the Striving Readers Grant is the what? Yeah, it's the thing that we'll be using in order to see where our students are as far as the Lexile scores. That's the one that, with the Striving Readers, that's the one that we're required to use, and we will give that 4 times, at least 4 times a year, so we can keep up with student progress. Don't forget that when our lesson plans are due, it's Monday by, it's about 8 or 8:30? 8:30, so let's be mindful of that. And also be thinking about, it's almost time for us to get into halt time. But I think I'm gonna wait till after this SLO stuff and all that is over with. Because I know in SLOs we've been kind of treading water, which I don't blame you. We were treading water until we can get this thing up and running. We didn't want to really go into a full-fledged, all-out attack and teaching, because we want those SLOs to reflect what the students do not know in order to give us an idea of what we need to do to get them to where they need to be. Turn it over to
this year they are doing collaborative planning a little differently this year, whereas you see in the past, if 2 people taught the same subject and those 2 people got together and planned or whatever, and it was spread out over several different days. And this year they're going to do it. Dr. Hinton has created a new collaborative planning system. And so basically during your planning period, everyone will get together in your PLC room, and you would do your common planning in there. And where it's going to be, what they're wanting to see is the quadrant D lessons is steering away from sitting together and everybody doing exactly the same thing on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. They're not as worried about it being verbatim and mirrored lessons, but just that everyone is using the same language and focusing on those quadrant D lessons, and just bringing everybody together at one time. So in a situation where maybe Matthew teaches, the same thing as Ms. Williams does, and the same thing as Mr. Potts, they're just gonna kind of have to figure out where whoever plans with him can share the information, with him and get that kind of stuff. But you're gonna hear more about it. The people that are in my PLC group, we'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. And it starts, my PLC groups, it starts this Thursday for us. And then the ones that are with Ms. Watts, you guys will start with it next week. But we'll be planning 2 weeks worth at a time. So, and whoever's in your group that's going to do the planning with you guys, someone's going to have to be a recorder. There are minutes and stuff that have to be taken in these collaborative planning sessions and so forth. So, just something for you guys to brainstorm. Like I said, you're not going to, if you're with Ms. Watts' PLC, you're not going to do it for next week, but mine will start Thursday.
It will ease you all into, don't panic, we'll ease you into this new process. Whatever Dr. Hinton wants to look like, but it's not going to be too much different as to what we're doing, because one of the things that we need with collaborative planning is we're teaching the same thing. The reason why we try to stay as close on track with one another in case we have a student that transfers to another class. We don't have one teacher that's way away, way out somewhere, and then we have another teacher that's a little bit slow in transferring. That student has a gap of information that they missed. So in doing this way that God wants it, it'll still look a lot like what we have been doing anyway. All right, RTI, Mr. Bryson.
I'll make it short and sweet. The RTI process has changed a little bit this year. It used to be that everybody who went to Washington County High School was in Tier 1. That's no longer the case. We're using a universal screener now, and it's SRI that everybody's going to be given within the next couple weeks. And what we're doing is we're taking the bottom 25% of those SRI scores, and those are going to be our at-risk kids. So we'll be taking those, and we're going to be doing the things that you're already doing in classes with interventions as far as the peer tutoring, the extra time, anything like that that you do is going to go for your Tier 1 folks. Now, we'll be screening with the maze, and we'll be using, to monitor their progress, we'll be using what you already do. Ticket out the doors, formative assessments. All I'll be doing is say, hey, I need so-and-so. I'll let you know who the student is. I'll let you know what tier they're in. And I'll just say, on such and such a date, I need you to send me their ticket out the door or their formative assessment, or whatever you've done with them that day. And we'll monitor them for 6 to 9 weeks, and then the RTI team will decide whether they need to go to Tier 2 or not. If they go to Tier 2, that should only be maybe 10% of the student population. The interventions that will be used with them are going to be, again, things that's already being used. The PALS, the reading guides, the reciprocal reading, any of those, and they'll be done anywhere from 3 times a week for about 20 minutes a week, but that's already being done during hop time. So again, it's nothing new, it's just stuff that we've already been used. We'll just be calling you for the data saying, I need their assessments on this. And then when they go to Tier 2, I'll also be doing progress monitoring on them. So I'll be using Ames, Webb, and Maze, and that will also be progress monitoring them. They'll be reevaluated, and then the team will decide if they need to move on to Tier 3 or stay in Tier 2. If they go to Tier 3, that's when the interventions have to be done 4 times a week for 30 minutes a week, but again, that will be met during hop time. And we'll be using the same reading guides, listen, read, discuss. If those interventions are not working, then you'll be given additional interventions or different interventions to use if that is not working for that student in that particular subject. And then after that, it'll be decided if they need to move to Tier 4, which is SPED. Is that?
And RTI is, of course, response to interventions, and that's how you determine if a student requires special ed or not. Now, the ideal thing is for that to be discovered, way down in elementary and primary school. That's the ideal thing, but unfortunately, some students are missed. So that process continues on all the way through their career. When I was talking to Ms. Bryson, she was telling me about these different assessments. This should be no surprise to us. I've been here 8 years. We've been doing ticket out the doors. We've been doing formative assessments. Well, let me say this. We're supposed to be doing this. So when she comes and say, I need your ticket out the doors for Alan Gray, ain't no tap dancing. You can't be shuffling. You just go to your file or whatever and pull them out and give them to her. Because most of our students are in the phase 1 part of it, and then once we give that assessment, then you look at a percentage of it. And the ideal of this is we shouldn't have a bunch of students going into special ed. Okay, we need to be doing those interventions and doing those things to get them where they need to be, so that when they take these universal screeners, their scores are high enough that only the ones that need those special services will be getting those special services. So you know, all the ticket out the doors, formative assessments, you know, we all familiar with that. That should be business as usual with us. So when she comes, for that information, it should be just a matter of spitting that out. Halt time, you know, all that is based on those assessments, and halt time is that extended learning period based on that data that's telling you that those students are not getting it. So please, if you've been kind of hitting and missing, and well, I'm not gonna do a closing this time, and I'm gonna do that, let's start getting back up on it, because this RTI stuff and all this documentation stuff, we have to have it. We have to have it. And it's all these interventions she was talking about with us going to this school-wide literacy plan, all of these reading strategies. I mean, it's stuff that we're doing. It's stuff that we're gonna be doing. It's just a matter of documenting it and handing it over. So it's not gonna be anything, that's why I was telling you, that first PowerPoint I showed you, that's the thing, that literacy initiative is the thing that will cover everything. That initiative in literacy that we've adopted this year, if we do it right and keep our paperwork right and do those reading strategies that we've learned and that we're going to learn, and we do the framework, the ticket out the doors, we do those formative assessments, stuff that I've been talking about since I've been in this seat, then it's a non-issue. Now, where the issue gonna come in is if we haven't been doing that. And that's where it's gonna look like, oh, it's something new and it's something. So if once we form this RTI team, and in the department, and that person in your department say, listen, I need ticket out the doors, they should be able to ask you Monday and really get it Monday afternoon. That's how we supposed to be doing it. They can ask you Monday and be able to get it Tuesday morning. It shouldn't be, oh, I gotta gather it together, or let me check, because it's something that we should be doing anyway. And when we start our extended learning through halt time, that should be, I mean, we've called that down so much, that shouldn't even be an issue. Okay, so just be mindful of all these things that's required. Any concerns? Am I leaving anything out? Is everything good with you? Any concerns, anything I need to know about? Everything going okay? We got the RSI coming down. That'll be done through the English department. Thank you, Ms. Brantley, for uploading all those classes. We really do appreciate you doing that. It just put us ahead of the game for doing that. Then all the English teachers have to do is once we get these, I think y'all worked on coordinating labs or something. Have y'all done that with y'all? So once we get that plugged in, get those Lexile scores out, start pairing our groups up, and start looking at some of these reading strategies. On the reading strategies, you're gonna hear a lot of people from other schools doing it different ways, and people add their own little flavor to it. But keep in mind that this is a school-wide initiative. So the PALs do not deviate from the steps that's required, like in the PALs, for example. Please don't shorten the time, don't adjust it, because what you have to understand, the whole part of this thing is it being done consistently across the school. So if I'm, instead of 5 minutes, I'm cutting it down to 2 minutes, and then you go down to another teacher's class and they're doing 5 minutes, we have messed up right there. Because now we just confuse the kids, and now the teacher that's doing it 5 minutes like he or she's supposed to, start getting pushed back because the kids don't want to read but for 2 minutes. So don't, you know, if it's PALS, for an example, and it's 5 minutes of this and 2 minutes of that, and then 5 minutes of this and 3 minutes of that, please just follow that. Keep your timer, and please just follow that guideline, because all of this is school-wide, and the whole thing to make this work is no matter what class they go to, and when the striving reader grant people come in, that's the stuff they're gonna be looking for. They're gonna look for kids talking. Are we doing PALs today? Are we doing reciprocal teaching today? Are we doing reading guides today? Because all that money they gave us for all these carts and all of these bells and whistles, y'all know where money is, they gonna come and they gonna check and make sure we implement it the right way. So please, I don't know what other schools are doing it, but with us, we need to make sure that we're doing it and we're doing it consistently across the school. Does somebody have something to add to that? Yes, ma'am.
Not to add to that,
Okay.
we do announcements.
Ma'am,
Announcement.
you need to do an announcement. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay. We're having the Pro Fair here at school on September 10th in the gym from 9 to 11, and that will include our 11th and 12th graders. Just want to give you a heads up, start talking about it. We will probably send out something so the students can register online and already have their barcode when the various colleges come around, so they don't have to stand there and fill out information sheets. They can just scan their barcode and the school already have their contact information.
Any other announcements? Ms. Bates, y'all have anything?
Hey, just a big week of sports, 3 home softball games today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Friday starts off the first football game at Thompson. Big week of sports.
Anything else? Any other announcements for everyone? If I can just get the new teachers, first time teachers, just to stay after real brief. Just want to check y'all pulse right quick. And anything else? All right, thank you for your time.